Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Las Vegas Challenge presented by Innova Champion Disc. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, alongside Legacy's own Steve Rico. And Steve, we've got a great battle taking place here in the MP40 division, your fourth and final round. You ready for this?
I am. Thanks for having me, Terry. Let's do it.
We're here at the Innova course. A lot of this course plays pretty similar. This is the one that received the least amount of changes from 2020 and earlier. Pretty straightforward on hole 1, 393, straight ahead.
Yeah, pretty much straightforward. OB on the right with the sidewalk. Other than that, it's pretty basic shot.
Feels like something you should be able to go out and get, right?
You can attack the hole, and at worst, you should walk away with a par on it.
Well, we've got our leader, Shasta Criss, who sits at 8 under. I should say co-leader, along with Super, otherwise known as Dave Bretado. Yourself one back, and then Chris Farnham out of Texas. So again, very tight battle.
Yeah, it was a tight battle for the previous 3 rounds, so it's anybody's game this round.
Shasta looks a little bit low, but it has a good angle. But that's kind of layup territory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a safe play. He can attempt to go for that putt or layup for the 3.
And we got one of your teammates in Super.
Super's got a lot of power. He's probably going to try to hyzer it right at the sidewalk and come in around that pine tree up there. And
now there was a cut. And so what time are you guys going off here on this round on Sunday?
I think we're like 8:30 or 8:50-ish, somewhere like that. Can't really quite remember.
Yeah, so kind of early compared to, you were around noon the previous days.
Yeah, we teed off, I think it was 12:36 pretty much every day. And now we got to tee off early on this Sunday. So the weather was a little bit cold and chilly. There was some wind out there. Kind of just get it down in the ground. Don't really get a whole lot of ground play.
Yeah, it looked like it wanted to skip, and then all of a sudden it stopped there, which is kind of surprising. And then we have Chris Farnham coming out of Texas, a guy with plenty of power. I filmed him a few years ago, and it looks like he's playing off the cart path, but it just scoots back in.
Yeah, he ended up with a really good lie there. I think he got a good skip off the cart path. Shasta just laying it up safe.
I'm excited to kind of hear of the chess match among you. You guys have really kind of distanced yourselves. You're in good position. It feels like it's really competitive. And you guys are all veterans of the game. You've been playing for quite some time yourself, along with the rest of the guys on this card. And I'm excited to see, when you're thinking about what another competitor is or isn't doing. And then we're going to see how the wind's going to play with you guys.
Yeah, the wind comes into play about hole 5 or 6. It's not too bad right now, but then it really picks up, and then the whole game plan kind of goes out the window, and you're just trying to pick and choose your moments when you can go against the wind or take your breaks, Sit down.
I think he was asking for it to stop. Either that or he's looking for a hold on a soft 17.
Yeah.
One of those two. And holy cow, taking the backdoor route here. Chris gets all around. It looks like he played off the cart path and now putting himself in position for the birdie.
You can see that flag on the top of the basket a little bit, but it's actually still pretty calm at this point.
Yeah, it's coming directly at him. Chris, out of Texas area, if anyone's used to playing in the wind, it's probably him more than most.
Yeah, it was the first time I really got to meet and play with Chris, and he's got a lot of game, throws far, pretty smooth player.
Should be relatively easy cleanup for you guys. Do you feel like you're totally loose at this point? Like you said, it's a little earlier than what you guys have been used to. It's been a long week in Vegas, whether you experienced all of Vegas or not. It's still been a long week out in the winds and brutal conditions. Is it tough to get up for that final round, final lead card on Sunday?
You know what? Normally it is, but Terry, I had such a rough 3 rounds. I played way below my rating, and I just really at this point was just trying to just play my best, and I tried not to care too much.
Okay. Well, here we are on hole 2, 270 feet. This is just kind of a low hyzer shot for you.
Yeah, you want to keep it low on the ground, stay below these tree branches, and kind of get a shuffleboard shot, slide all the way up to the basket there.
Also, a little bit of if you think the baskets look skinnier, it's not from a long night in the casino. It's a little. I found last year's previews, which apparently I had compressed a little. So, and there it is, nice and low, like you were saying. Not quite enough power though.
Yeah, you kind of want to just throw it hard and at the ground and get a skip all the way there to it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're throwing this 230, 240, you hit the ground and you get a skip or two, kind of like Shasta shot right there. We'll see if that quite got there, but that seems like the play.
Yeah, it's definitely the play. You don't. If you're up in the air at all, there's a lot of branches to catch, so you got to get it down. You almost want to hit the ground about 130, 140 feet up there.
There's not a ton of trees out here on the course, so I love that they were able to use this corridor to, make one of these holes. It's a little bit shorter as Super gets off that right side, but I love that they use this little corridor to make a pretty, typical disc golf hole.
Yeah, good technical shot. There's not much technicality out there on the fairway, so this is one of them definitely.
See if it's got enough angle.
That worked out pretty good, actually.
We see Dave just outside the circle, probably about 40 feet.
Coming up a little short.
2 for 2 on being just a little bit low. You
Yeah.
think about the last one that kind of dipped in and out. That one didn't quite get there. This is also in the corner where everyone's kind of entering the disc golf course, or entering the entire facility, I should say. So unfortunately, there's kind of traffic that's going to be coming through here anytime you're putting or throwing drives on this hole. Shasta. Trying to make it tougher on himself than he wants.
Everybody's just cleaning up their pars here.
Yeah, good solid putt. So Shasta will remain at 8 in the lead, tied with Dave here, who's right next to the pin. And did you realize you were that close when you released it? Did you think you had absolutely parked it?
I felt like it was pretty good, but I always expect myself to have a putt. You never want to just assume you park the hole and walk up there with a 25-footer.
Sure.
We don't know how that ends up playing out.
Well, somebody just hit their numbers, 888 here. We have a 3-way tie, and Chris right there. If I know if any of you guys play cribbage, 3 8s and a 7. That's a pretty solid hand. All right, we move over to another 270-footer.
Yeah, this is a little hyzer shot around the OB. There's the sidewalk long, the water short, and if you happen to throw OB, you got to go to a drop zone. It's definitely one of them holes you definitely want to get.
Playing it out wide, then a nice skip. You see the wind pick up just a little bit, and that flag looks like it's blowing pretty hard from left to right.
Yeah, the wind is just starting to pick up a little bit. It's still relatively not too bad at this point.
Not enough skip. Almost like the nose was diving a little too much before it hit the ground, so it didn't really get a flat skip. It got more of a stick.
Yeah, this is one of them holes. It's pretty basic hyzer shot, but you got to make sure you really got to commit to the throw. And if you happen to miss, it turns into a bogey. It's a 2-stroke swing, So this is definitely one of them holes you got to focus on and make sure you get it.
Yeah, the one thing you can't do is bring it in too tight. You don't want to be flirting with those trees and have that thing suck it in and then all of a sudden pull you into the water. I mean, if anything, bail out wide right, keep it, out where Chris is, worst case scenario. Just whatever you do, don't find the OB. OB here essentially means you're taking a 4. Like, there's really no doubt, right?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe even a bigger number. And Super just absolutely parks it.
And this happens to be one of my favorite backdrops that we see out here on the course of, so many gorgeous sights, but love seeing off in the distance. If I was smarter, I'd know the name of those mountains, or that mountain range, but I don't. Nobody's ever accused me of being too smart, Steve.
Oh, I know, Terry.
Hey, stop. See if Shasta can get things going off. It's a little bit of a slow start, pair of pars.
You can see that flag on top of the basket blown pretty good. Beautiful putt there.
Momentarily keeps him in the lead. Or puts him in sole lead, we should say. And then also in the background, just to kind of set up a little geography for you guys, that is hole 18, just behind the tree that you see in frame, and the fairway behind there. That is all of hole 18's fairway. I'm going to get a quick shout out in here for Joey Tamale along with the crew over at Innova. It was kind of a last moment idea, only because of Joey's misfortune of missing the cut. Spoiler alert. In the MPO side, I was able to ask him and hire him for the round to go out and get this sweet battle, and super glad to do so. And look at that. I think we're going to have still a 3-way tie.
3-way tie, yep. 3 birdies on the hole. It's pretty solid.
Huge shout out, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch in northern Wisconsin. Also one of Wisconsin's oldest Innova distributors, and the first disc golf ranch in the world. You've been there, Steve.
My cousins.
Yes,
Yep.
you have.
Yep.
All right. Our first par 4. And
this
or
is
no,
par
correction.
three,
This is hole 4. The next one's a par 4. This one's tricky to get though.
It's
Even though
tricky
it's
to
just
get.
357.
Yeah, you still gotta go through some trees here, or you can go up kind of high, and the sidewalk is long OB. So you can play it a couple of different ways. I went up a little bit high over these trees, trying to flex something there.
Yeah, that pushed out into the right. And we'll see where that lands. I mean, yeah, I feel like there's not an obvious route here that everyone loves to take. We see a lot of different ways people attack this hole. A little bit low for Shasta. And then, like so many holes out here, it's going to be on the side of a hill. So you're always thinking about that putt, right?
Yeah, if it's not a gimme putt, and you're, even circle's edge, it's still a putt that you got to decide whether you're gonna go for it because it's a little bit of a wind. You want to lay it safe because if you catch any metal, you end up rolling away.
Nice and low. Let's see what kind of look that gives him. And Chris is going to have to get things going here. With the 3 of you out in front, I don't think you want to risk falling too far behind. That one's a little low out of his hand, so he's going to have just an approach.
That should be fine.
So I saw that Chris had competed in the distance competition. Did yourself or Super do that at all, or no?
I'm not sure Super did. I definitely did not. My distance isn't quite what it used to be, so I don't really partake in those side events that much, unless it's mini golf.
Some basic tap-in action.
Yeah, especially right now that my hands are cold.
I'm not going to call you guys boring, but
Well, you know, we're masters, and that's kind of how it goes.
now that I feel like that is, it's not quite a bonus birdie, but it's definitely a tougher one to get. And now here we are on the first par 4 of the round. What are you trying to do?
We're trying to go right through this gap that we're flying through now. There is some OB on the right with the sidewalk, but you're trying to get out just around before this bunker and then have an approach shot over that and the green and right up to the basket on that little mound.
And then behind the mound in the basket, also OB territory.
Yeah, it slopes about 25 to 30 feet. It slopes down to the OB behind it. And right about now, you'll start to see the wind really, really start picking up.
And at 606 feet, are you just trying to smash one as far as you can on this opening tee shot?
Yeah, I'm trying to rip one through that gap and get down there to make the further you go, the easier the upshot becomes. I mean, you got to play it pretty aggressive. Super, absolutely crushes this drive.
Yeah, the fact when it came out of his hand, I didn't think it was coming back out, and then all of a sudden you see it kind of flare back, clearly giving enough room and plenty of power.
Chris catches a break off that tree and kicks back in bounds.
He was heading OB, huh?
Yeah.
And this is kind of an awkward place to be to try and get up and down for a birdie, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a little further back than you want to be. Oh, man.
There's a tree there.
Yeah.
For someone that hasn't maybe seen, and I know this is your first time with Chris, so it's not a fair question, but how about for Super or for Shasta? What if you had to kind of quickly summarize what you see out of their games typically as Shasta goes just a bit deep? How would you kind of summarize either of their games?
Well, Super is a lot more aggressive. Super has a lot of power. He throws far, so he has more. He attacks a lot of holes. Shasta is very technical. He likes to place his shots, makes his putts, and I got to be honest, Shasta should have crushed us this week. Honestly.
Well,
you know, the way Shasta's game is, he doesn't make very many mistakes, and I know he was kind of injured going into Sunday, but yeah, I feel like he let us off the hook for sure.
well, he's just toying with you guys a little bit as he's right there in the hunt. All three of you still at this 9 under. And being able to throw a putter, is that what you're throwing there?
Yeah, I threw a clutch there. It was a pretty routine upshot.
Yeah, just being able to control that speed on the side of the hill, you know, knowing that you can come in kind of flat and it's not going to go too far past no matter what you're doing. That's a huge advantage, and Super with a pretty routine approach there as well. Yeah, this is a real, if you're not within, 20, 25, maybe 30 of this pin, you're not even thinking about putting. And there's that wind you speak of.
Yeah, this is where it really kicks in, and it's ripping hard right now. And I'm trying to let it die down. I'm trying to milk the time here, but I had to get going.
That looks like clearly in no wind. That's in all day.
Yeah,
That was a really nice putt, a little bit high, but the wind just kind of then said, no, we're gonna push this back out.
Yeah, you can see that flag just ripping. I mean, overall, I was happy with the putt. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly not a bad putt, and it's just you got to be really delicate when it comes to the exact placement when the wind is this prevalent. And now we do see a little score separation. You walk away with the par. Super gets the birdie. Shasta with the bogey. Just like that, 3 different scores as you guys move on. Thanks to Sail On Enterprises. We head to a water hole, one of the shorties.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real basic shot if there's no wind. You know, there is trouble It is an island hole, water, and then it's surrounded with the string line OB. So you still got to be able to pinpoint your shot here as the wind does start to pick up.
You definitely don't want to hit any of the people that are making the OB line in that preview. Big shout out to Innova for the drone previews, which we were able to recycle from last year, which was great, especially for some bonus footage. What are you thinking here?
Well, I got a couple different choices to make with my disc selection, but I'm going to go with an overstable mid-range, and I'm going to try to just get it low and throw it at the water and let it break over towards the green.
Are you nervous?
You know, Terry, at this point, I've already played so terrible, so I was not nervous at all anymore.
Wow. And that was almost, perfect.
And that
was
worked out,
exactly what you would want to do.
Yep.
And it's funny how hard you still had to throw it at 222 feet, to battle, to fight the wind and the stability.
It takes, it's not a hard hole, but it takes full 100% commitment to throwing that shot.
Looks to be a bit high. The question is, will it get any additional ground play? And he finds himself out in the green, so, no big problem there, but that's probably a layup all day. Here's an overhand. Oop.
Catches the tree, and yeah, I hadn't seen Criss attempt any thumbers at all throughout the week.
So that's actually OB. He heads to the drop zone. And now it doesn't get any easier. Look at the flag.
Oh yeah, it's it's ripping right now.
Beautiful touch.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll see players, tip their disc over, especially when you got a nice flat surface like this. Oh, and they're super doing just that. Put it on its
Yeah.
on the head and then flip it
up
over,
there.
slide it up there.
So this putt is just like my last putt that I had. So
And it's even facing almost the exact same direction.
so I did make the adjustment this time.
Nice.
Put it a little bit lower.
Solid birdie. Again, getting you a share of the lead.
I could have played it a little better. Yeah, here I am. You can hear me talking about the previous putt.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
I can't.
Yep.
You know how this game is.
Dave and all his fans at this PDGA Elite Series event. This is an A-Tier. The Pro Tour's here for the Elite Series, but a big show nonetheless. And the famous hole number 7, the double G, stuck last year.
Yep, this hole's just trouble everywhere. You got the green, you got the bunkers, the slope behind it, the water. I'm just trying to pinpoint my shot in the one safe landing zone, which is before the green. So I'm throwing an overstable fairway driver here.
So you're purposely somewhat clubbing down. You're not trying to throw it as far as you can because that green comes into play as OB.
Right.
So it's a little lesson for everybody at home.
But Super takes a different approach, and he's attacking the hole.
He is going for all of it, and it finally comes back in. And it's going to put him in the bunker, which so the bunkers are unique. You play from there with a penalty stroke. So right where you land, you play it, I guess we call him as a hazard, and he'll play it from right there with a penalty. So right now he's putting for a 3. Shasta's, that's pushing way up there, and it's finally going to come back, but not enough.
Just short of making it to that bank over there.
Again, and Criss has a ton of power, but that one still flips up on him, and a little less anticipation. I think I knew right out of his hand where that one was going to finish. Shasta's at least teased us.
Yeah, a little bit. And that drop zone is not an easy shot.
I was just gonna say, like, you still have those hazard bunkers to deal with, and all of this wind plus short OB green, and then deep of the basket is a hill. Like,
Yeah.
this is really, really punishing.
So a lot of, I mean, if you can go for it and get to those bunkers and land in there, it's better to be there than to be OB and playing back from the drop zone, because that's not an easy shot with the wind right now.
That's interesting. Yeah, the
So
thought
it's
of like, hey,
So
play
it's almost,
two.
yeah, it's almost better to be aggressive and just try to rip at the basket and get to the bunkers or go past the basket if possible.
I'll remember that next time for my 450-foot shots
Yeah.
that I don't rip. Well, back in the day, I never did that either.
No,
Never
you
mind.
never did. No.
Stop,
I remember.
Stop. Solid approach there for you. You're within 15, which is still a little bit of a tester in this wind. Now Chris has work to do, and he's got to be happy that just sat down. I mean,
Yeah.
that's anytime you're on the hills here, you draw metal. You look enthused. I see in the background. And how often do you see that the penalty birdie 3? Right?
Yeah. And super stoked about it.
Hey, just throw it OB, man. Get the birdie. Move on. Oh, and I got to tell you guys a little secret. I think I turned down the volume on a few of these clips because the wind was ripping so much harder. And what kind of
And Shasta he told me too, that's like the shortest layup I've ever attempted in my life.
I was just gonna say, what kind of discipline? Like, that's incredible. I mean, I'm gonna give him props. You could putt back and forth 3 times, at that hazard.
Yeah.
And that wind, I give him a ton of credit because that takes some serious discipline. And if you miss this, you also still have challenge. I mean, this is not a.
You gotta jam those little 12-footers in there, You can't float them, you gotta jam them in there, so.
So the double for Shasta, a little bit of a heartbreaker, and we see a couple of birdies. So you guys really trying to pull away as we thank VII Apparel. And beautiful hole number 8.
Yeah, this hole plays out over these, I don't think they're greens, but there's a sidewalk that wraps around the basket. Everything on the right side is safe. And it's definitely a bonus birdie if you can get it. And especially right now, we're playing in some crazy headwind, and we're just trying to get our bars on it, actually.
And it's so funny to think that the previous hole is 4 feet shorter and slightly uphill, and this one is 427 and downhill, and you're just like, whoa, that sucked.
Yeah. And you can see, well, I think we all end up in the same, 3 of us end up in like the same spot.
Super talking about the hero route over there. I'd like to see it. Little twirl, that's cute.
It's cute.
Let's see what Chris has. You guys are ultimately trying to like turn it over, like Chris is doing there, because the hole plays left to right, but you're throwing into a headwind, and that is just one of the most dangerous combos ever. A light turnover into
Yeah.
a headwind.
But also, I mean, if you throw something stable and you get it up in the air and it hydrates out over the sidewalk, so it's a very touchy shot. You just gotta.
It's like 4 shots in a row now.
Yeah. You're Shasta talking about
No
the
wind love for Shasta. huh?
None, no. And I was there. He had 0 love.
Again, he's fallen off the pace a little bit. You guys are out in front by 5, trying to make this a 2-man race now. Slowly trying to eliminate possible competitors.
And that's the shot that I was talking about that hydrates out.
So that's OB on the far left side. And here you think, well, yeah, I've got under 200 feet, and this approach still sucks for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's ripping. I'm just trying to get up there somewhat close. still the OB is probably about 20 feet behind the basket, so I still got to be careful with my speed on the disc.
Yeah, and even though that pushed up and over to the right, you didn't get it all the way there. You got work to do.
Pretty nice shot there. And you're really trying to take advantage of the wind breaks. So if it's you want to be behind your line, ready to go, just in case you get a break in the wind, and you want to you don't really want to rush through it, but you want to go through your routine a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to be locked and loaded. So if all of a sudden it settles, dang, that probably felt like what, 110 feet is what it felt like.
Actually, that one felt pretty good. Ain't gonna lie about it.
No, I mean, normally there's probably not that much reprieve over a 28 footer, but
That felt really. I mean, I wasn't making those when there was no wind, so it was one of those weeks for me. So
it's plenty of dust kicking up. And these can be dangerous too, because if you get this up and get the bottom flight plate exposed, this thing could carry, or it could just get drilled right into the chains.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to be careful, like you said earlier a hole ago. You can't float anything in. You're really trying to jam a lot of these.
yeah, you gotta be aggressive on a lot of these putts. It's either if you're gonna attack it, you're aggressive, or you just throw it under the basket.
Shasta, a little bit frustrated. The wind, it looks like it's constantly blowing the willow leaves in front of him.
Yeah, he actually told me he had to wait until the branch was actually blowing out of the way of his life for him to putt.
I just remember you got 30 seconds. If you use all 29 of them, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you were saying, you want to be ready to go if you get a little break.
Nice.
Oh, that's a solid putt.
Had to wait for the branch, so I did it.
Yeah, there you go. Hear him talking about it.
Well, he did it right. Super is left with this. He had the best approach. He steps up and jams it. Wow. Some pretty solid putts there. I think we're going to see from Zuka, and then also Double G is going to talk a little bit about some Star Wraith love. We'll be back in a moment.
Since it was released, the Halo Wraith has been my primary driver. These discs are so juicy. It's firm, it's got a nice flight plate. I really love the plastic. The Wraith's just like a disc that everyone needs. It's the perfect combination of distance and control. Looks great, flies even better.
Yeah, sure, Double G. Perfect combinations, 800-foot throws.
Right.
You do.
And a little bit of beef jerky, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're here for the final hole of this front nine. What a great battle. You and Dave are all knotted up. And hole 9 has a little bit different look. We don't have the drone preview for it, but it's a little bit different look out of the gate.
Yeah, you gotta make sure the most important thing is getting out through this gap and then getting out there to where you have a chance to make a good upshot.
Yeah, this also protected and wedged kind of between a couple of sand traps. And so, trying to bite off as much as you can on this tee shot.
Good looking shot there. Get the huge skip.
That big flare, that'll work.
Too bad.
The fairways are so fast out here. You know, those low shots, you get 150-foot skips out there.
Shasta praying to the wind gods.
He's getting no wind love at all.
Looks a little bit tight, and you said it. You really need to get out of the gap. It looks like he at least has, a chance to make a good recovery shot there, though. And he does.
Yeah, he has a decent lie, and he does a great shot here.
Super with the standstill. I think we're going to have to tease it out for how Super got his nickname. Maybe we'll talk about that in the back nine. But what I need you to do, maybe with that, how about this? Tell me your favorite disc golf nickname. It could be for you, a friend of yours. It could be for one of our players. But put that in the comments. That'll make you eligible to win a disc from the disc golf guy here. That's me. I gave myself that name. But yeah, do that. Give us your favorite disc golf nickname. Again, it can apply to anyone. And put that in the comments. I'll randomly grab one about a week after this drops. And we'll give something away. Seems like you like that lie, or that shot.
Yeah, they ended up working out pretty good. Do a good shot, but I actually hit the pole, which is probably going to go out of bounds, but it saved me.
I call those the Pro Tour pole koozies. Trademarked.
Yeah.
Trademarked.
I like that. And that bunker sits about what?
8? Yeah,
8
6?
feet?
6
Yeah.
feet maybe? Yeah, you're right. Maybe 5 to 6 feet. It is right there. Oh, good flag.
Yep.
And again, we're watching Chris here. I was going to say try and clean up even on the shortest of them. I mean, if he misses this with any power, it's guaranteed bunker. Yeah, never a doubt. But I want to thank you guys. I want to again thank Wildhorse Golf Club for having us. I want to thank Jeff Jacqua and the incredible staff. So many people here it takes to put this event on. Of course, the presenting sponsor in Innova Champion Disc, and Joey Tamale for hustling around getting the bonus coverage. Thanks to Steve Rico for joining me for this front nine. Steve, you guys are all knotted up, or actually you sit with a one-stroke lead now. And we're going to head in the back nine and see what happens.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys are making this happen. And just within the card, like I said, you've got the hottest round going. You're 5 under, 12 overall. And it looks like you and Dave are trying to pull away from the rest of them. We'll see you guys in the back nine. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing.